A long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, a new Star Wars movie was announced starring Felicity Jones and Forest Whitaker. Now the highly anticipated action-packed Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is finally hitting the big screen. But this movie isn't like all the others that came before. Check it out.
Jin, whatever I do it to protect you. So you understand?
I understand.
You want to get out of here?
Our rebellion is all that remains to push back the Empire. We think you might be able to help us.
When was the last time you were in contact with your father?
What is this? It appears he is critical to the development of a super weapon.
If my father built this thing, we need to find him.
All right. How many do I need?
They are requesting a call sign.
It's, Rogue One.
The power that we are dealing with here is immeasurable.
If the Empire has this kind of power, what chance do we have?
We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope. They've no idea we're coming.
Take hold of this moment. The Force is strong. Make 10 men feel like 100.
We'll take the next chance. And the next. You're rebels, aren't you?
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
Man, I cannot wait. Abraham Riesman, associate editor from Vulture, joins me now on set to nerd out about this.
Yes.
All right, dude, so you've seen it.
Yeah.
So let's put that up
It
front.
feels like Star Wars comes earlier and earlier every year, doesn't it?
It really does.
This is going to be an annual tradition until the sun burns out.
Keep it coming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you've seen it.
I sure have.
Give us your review. I know you've written something up for Vulture, but tell us what you think.
I loved it. It's been somewhat divisive among my fellow culture writers, but I adored it. I thought it was a vast improvement on The Force Awakens, which again,
Which is not a high benchmark. I mean,
I was in the minority. I said what you're not supposed to say, which was it was not a very good movie. But no, Rogue One is delightful.
Okay.
It is totally removed, for the most part, from the kind of mysticism of the whole, Jedi plot that tends to drive the core set of trilogies. It's much more just about conflict, the Rebel Alliance going up against the Empire, ripping good action, terrific performances, a completely bizarre made-up accent on Forest Whitaker's part. I don't know what he was going for, but he achieved it.
Sort of like a Bane kind of? That wasn't an accent.
A little bit. Well, but Bane was sort of like, Christopher Plummer yelling into a fan. This is more Forest Whitaker doing, I guess, like Last King of Scotland in space or something. And Diego Luna is wonderful.
Yeah.
He's a truly beautiful man and brings a thick Mexican accent to space, which is, I think, a new one for the Star Wars franchise.
Because it was all British back in the day.
It was all Brits.
It was all
and
Brits.
we do still have plenty of Brits, including Alan Tudyk doing an English accent for no particular reason, but since he's a robot. But I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fascinating, exciting, and unlike most franchise films that come out these days, it has an actual ending.
So here's my question as a huge fan, and everybody who watches CBSN knows that I am. But I don't want spoilers. But there's a mention of the Force in the trailer. But you say that the mysticism of the Jedi is removed from it. Although Donnie Yen he's not a Jedi.
Donnie Yen, who plays Chirrut Imwe, difficult name to type out because it has a little diacritical over the I. I have to copy and paste every time.
Diacritical. I have no idea what that is.
Right. Hey, I went to college. I can BS my way through words like that. Yes, Donnie Yen plays a guy who's this spiritual warrior who believes in the existence of the Force, but he is not himself a Jedi. And so it comes up in that context, but that's about it.
All right, so the story is that this is meant to be the bookend. This is when Star Wars Episode 4 starts, and Princess Leia gives the secret plans of the Death Star to R2-D2.
Correct.
The question that people have always had is, how did those plans come into possession of the Rebel Alliance? This is the story about that.
Certainly Lucasfilm would like to think that people are always asking that question. I think most people were just fine with, okay, she has them, who cares? But this does fill in how we got from point A to point B. And it turns out, this is not a spoiler given that this is the entire pitch for the film, this sort of ragtag group of misfits working for the Alliance end up obtaining the plans. I won't tell you how or what the ins and outs are, but yes, it does lead us all the way up to there. As I've been telling people, unless you're a geek, it might be hard to follow exactly when this movie is happening because it is a prequel to the original trilogy, but a sequel to the prequels, and it is set 4 movies before the most recent movie.
Right, yeah, that's
but yeah, it's like a mid-quel.
But
or something.
I suggest Wikipedia for people who...
You and I have a lot in common.
We do. Wikipedia. Not Wikipedia, Wikipedia.
Yes.
So Darth Vader has been in the trailers, the most recent trailers.
Yes.
Now, I've always wanted to see Darth Vader. I mean, I know that in Empire Strikes Back, he's pretty scary, but there's a much scarier Vader in the books and some of the other graphic novels.
Books? God, you are really on it.
I'm a nerd, dude. And I wonder if we see a little bit of that. I don't want to know what he does. I don't know how he plays into it, but is he the Vader that we were led to believe was horrific?
I wish I could tell you more so that you could. Oh, it's so good. I will tell you. I won't say how you see it, how it manifests itself, but it does have what I believe was one of the single most terrifying Darth Vader moments I've ever seen on film.
Worse than in the Attack of the Clones when he goes after the kids, or was that in, I can't remember.
That's Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith,
Attack of the Clones, he kills all the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, right.
Does anybody understand what we're talking about here on this segment right now? But yes, it's more terrifying than that. You will cheer and gasp at the same time.
Really?
It's a really well done Vader moment, yes.
All right, and one final thing, the production of the film, I think it's kind of cool because there we see Mon Mothma, who is
head of the Rebel Alliance.
Head of the Rebel Alliance, who we saw in Star Wars Episode 4, the first movie in 1977.
No.
Oh no, you're right.
We see her in Return of the Jedi.
That's right, we see her in Return of the Jedi. You're right. It's a trap. No, forget it. The look of the film is very much in keeping with the 1977
Absolutely.
look, right?
It is what is often referred to as the used future.
Yes.
It's, although it's, of course, said a long time ago, but you know what I mean. It's spaceships and laser weapons, but everything's all beat up. Yeah, I mean, we've been in a civil war at this point for decades, and the rebels don't exactly have access to the hottest new brands in the galaxy. Everything's a little beat up. It's great.
The last thing I want to point out, let's put up this tweet from Vox that got a lot of hazing on the internet. And real quickly, we'll just talk about this. This is a tweet from Vox, and it says, Rogue One is the first Star Wars movie to acknowledge a whole franchise is about war. The author of the piece that it linked to, Todd Vanderwerf, he's a great writer.
He's a wonderful
He wasn't
writer,
really saying, because everybody started saying the movie is called Star Wars.
I know.
It is a period of civil war, but he wasn't trying to make that point.
No, I'm with him on this. He's actually right. It's not that this is the first Star Wars movie to use the word war. That wasn't the argument. But he's absolutely right that this is a movie that is, as director Gareth Edwards said, it's a war movie.
Right.
And like I said, you take out the Jedi stuff, it's just war. And you don't have any of the distraction of like destiny and these Christ figures or whatever, father-son stuff. No, although there is some father-daughter stuff in here, but no, for the most part, this is a movie that does acknowledge this is about people going to extreme measures to fight for ideals. I would argue that it's problematic in its politics, but that's a whole other segment,
which we'll bring you back to talk about.
Great, can't wait.
Abraham Riesman from Vulture, thank you so much, man. We always enjoy it.
Thanks, it's always a pleasure.